I've been a mobile entrepreneur and investor for the past 14 years, essentially my whole career. I started out creating a city guide in Philadelphia called phillytonight.com after I graduated University of Pennsylvania in 1999, which soon actually morphed into one of the first mobile marketing agencies called IPSH, IPSH. How we came about IPSH was through Philly Tonight. We were actually registering customers' cell phone numbers and sending them text messages with what was going on in the city. This was 1998, 1999. So this is way before a consumer could even send a text message from, say, Verizon to Sprint. We were actually emailing the carrier gateways through email addresses using paging networks to translate it to text messaging to the end consumer. We figured out that this was kind of clever, at least we thought so, and so we decided to create a mobile agency called IPSH, IPSH, to help brands reach their customers over SMS. So I started that in San Francisco in 2001, and we grew very quickly. We were soon working with McDonald's and Procter & Gamble, Master Foods, Starburst, big brands. So McDonald's, for example, if you bought a Big Mac circa 2002, you might have seen a 5-digit code on the wrapper of the Big Mac. That was one of the first cross-carrier short codes used for mobile marketing, where we put on millions of packages of Big Macs, and also we did this with Starburst candies, a short code where people could text in to actually win the sweepstakes, right? Instead of having to take that sort of smelly wrapper home and go online, they could do it right then and there. So we devised those types of marketing campaigns, ended up growing up IPSH and selling it to the largest ad holding company in the world, Omnicom, here in New York in the end of 2005. So I moved to New York in 2006. At that time I got very involved in some very interesting advertising, sort of mobile advertising networks. So I was very lucky to be an investor in a company called AdMob and an advisor to a company called Graystripe, both of which had great exits recently. And then I left Omnicom to start a company called Buzzed, B-U-Z-Z-D, which is kind of taking the Philly Tonight days and bringing it back. It was a direct-to-consumer city guide. And we were one of the first of our kind in 2007 on mobile web. And then we soon grew to iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry. About a year and a half ago, we realized there was a lot more competition in that space, competing for that same customer, whether it was GoWalla or Instagram or Foursquare, winning a lion's share of attention. So we decided, actually took a page from the IPSH book, and can we leverage the platform that we created to sell to businesses and brands? And that became Local Response, which we just launched last week. So that's kind of I know it's a very long version, but that's a snapshot of my career. About a year ago, we formalized our investment strategy by starting a mobile fund called ENIAC, E-N-I-A-C, which is the name of the first computer. It's also the School of Computer Science at the University of Pennsylvania, where my partners and I went to school. And so that's the world's first mobile venture fund.
That's great.
And so we have 20 investments today. We do about one a month. And so on a full-time basis, I guess I'm running the startup, Local Response, and then at nights and weekends I'm investing and meeting with entrepreneurs. Yeah, I mean, I think, at a high level, the mobile device is, I often, speak at schools nearby, and I always say, give me a show of hands for people that have their cell phone farther than 5 feet away from them at all times, right? And nobody raises their hand because people sleep with their phones. People have their phones under their pillows. It's everywhere they go, right? It's always within arm's reach. And so I think what mobile has enabled, specifically mobile marketing, mobile advertising has enabled, is the ability to interact with a brand or business at any point in time, right? And we see that with QR codes in magazines, we see that in short codes in television shows, we see that in Bluetooth stations and train stations. It essentially makes any type of advertising interactive, and that's why we love mobile. So I think in terms of supply and demand in businesses, it augments everything they do because it can make it measurable, accountable, and more interactive. You know, I always look at mobile marketing as being an umbrella term, right? Mobile advertising is a part of mobile marketing, and I think there needs to be a lot more innovation in mobile advertising. You know, I agree with Steve Jobs that, you know, mobile ads, quote unquote, suck because somebody stuck the banner from the web and put it in a phone, right? And it's not the same relative intensity. It's not the same proportion. In fact, did you know 60% of clicks on mobile banners are accidental, right? Because your screen's so small to begin with. So I think there's going to be a lot of innovation on the mobile advertising front, a lot more essentially optimization for what the phone is good for. The phone knows where you are. The phone knows maybe who your friends are, where your friends have been, and delivering relevant contextual advertising on that device, I think, will be the future. So that's a very general answer. I can give you specific companies that are innovating. One company is called Keep, K-I-I-P, where it's a reward network, which means if you win a reward at the end of, say, a game, you're playing a mobile game, Angry Birds, and you get to the next level, a brand can actually reward you with your progress by giving you something right at the end of that level. It doesn't feel like an ad. It's pretty contextual and it's relevant. And so I think those types of integrated ad models are going to start to emerge.